Great, it's Sunday the 15th of January. We're actually at St Asaphs Cathedral in North Wales in Denbighshire. Beautiful county, best county in Wales in my book, Denbighshire. Apart from, obviously, down to Llanbedrog. But needless to say, wonderful cathedral. You walk in, it's very welcoming, it's very warm, which is lovely. And it tells the difference between a cathedral and a church. First thing I noticed upon straight away is the great piece of work here. Now, before I go any further, the building dates back to 1400 years ago, but actually it was in 1285 that this particular building was erected, either on or near the original building's works. So we're looking at 1285, but we're actually looking at 1400 years ago of the establishment being here, really, I guess. Great to see the Knights Templar here with the redness. And it's nice to see you obviously got the bishop there, that he subjected himself to the bishop. There is another piece of artwork out there that depicts a very similar, with exactly the same hand gesture, where there's actually Mary Magdalene instead of a bishop. And it's exactly the same piece of artwork in that sense. The pose and everything is exactly the same. So I found that particularly of interest.
It's the accolade, isn't it?
It is the accolade, yeah. Absolutely. We have here, which is great, another connection to me as well, Reginald H. Clarke, which is already on my tree, so that's quite nice to see there. Although I did know before coming, because I'd already been on mine, but it's nice to see it in reality. Down here, in this part of the building, this is about 400 years ago. It had some extra work and refurbishments done to this part of the building. As you walk around, you can certainly see everything we want to go upwards there. There's a lot of lighting there. I don't know how much you can get of the vaulted ceiling and stuff. Again, sort of gives you an idea of the period to which it was erected. It's absolutely nicely laid out here for different things. Just going to go into here to show you. Again, the lighting here can be quite tricky. This particular part of the cathedral, we've got the Madonna, as they mark it as, the Madonna with John the Baptist. And what I like about this particular piece of artwork, I don't know how much you can zoom in on John the Baptist himself, but I think he's the most significant piece in the picture, really, is that he is a young John the Baptist. Now, most people depict him as being an elderly man, which is quite wrong for the period. And there we see him in his truer beauty, I guess. For want of a better term. This part I would assume has been used a reasonable amount. And that's the only piece in this particular part of the cathedral. It's a very large cathedral as we walk around. Certainly see if we can go off around, which we can zoom into there to just see again the Templar cross, the medieval knighthoods, what have you, which is quite interesting as well. But what's of more interest is when we go travel further down the high water. Also, you always expect to see lots of fleurs-de-lis. And this I particularly liked, because I haven't seen this in any of the high altars yet, in any cathedral or church really. You have the weeping woman with him carrying the alleged cross to his fate. And that I found particularly interesting, because I've never seen them side by side before in that particular way. Good. So the step down, watch the step down. Just as we show you around the cathedral, the connection to the area for a personal level as well would be the Clarkes, the Parrys and Perrys. The fords we go into Real, and obviously extended down over the areas. You've got to think that at that particular point in time, you've got the Celtic lands. So we're looking at Highland, straight into Tyre, straight through to the Highlands of Scotland. Although it's a modern art piece of artwork around here, there's a wonderful artist that could make these ones, which I particularly like. There's amazing things of artwork. And how much of that you can get on the film here, it's absolutely amazing. Just travelled down to one of my ancestors' Bibles, actually, that's in a little case. What was nice here, sorry, before we go on to show you the Bible, actually, was that, again, the Lamb of God here. Again, a beautiful piece of craftsmanship there, which I was quite surprised to see. You think this particular cathedral, if we look at where we reside over at Cambridge, we have Ely Cathedral, but we've got this cathedral here. I would rate this much far more superior than the glitz and glamour of the Ely Cathedral, that acts more on commercialism more than anything else. This is much more what the cathedral's about in my particular.
Would you have to pay a fortune to go in?
Exactly, yes, and it shouldn't be so. And of course, in Ely Cathedral, even God takes plastic, because they accept credit cards, which to me is a little bit odd, to accept credit, which means people get into debt, which I find a bit odd. Okay, great, so we've got this Bible here, which is one of my ancestors, Richard Parry, 1620, which I've done a lot of work online, researching, which is amazing to see. And that's from my mother's side, not my father's side. Here, and the artworks are great. It's nice. It's nothing that you wouldn't see in any other particular cathedral or church, but there's certainly some nice pieces to look and view us. In there, which I think is quite nice. You sort of pan around and get an idea of the size. It's about half the size of Ely Cathedral. But I say I think it's worth so much more.